Here we go, boys. Let's see. Let's see. Spawn them in. We'll trap them in. We'll do like base attack, and then... We finally two-shot him, bro. It's so busted. Hey, YouTube, so as you can see, this build has disgusting damage from the clip at the start. You could two-shot bosses, you go through dungeons, you one-shot elites. It's absolutely busted. Let's just go straight into the build. At the top here, we're taking bone splinters for acolytes. That's for extra crit chance. Max out bone spear. Come down here for extra splinters and AoE clear. Or take this one for extra vulnerable. You can have a play with both of those two. We're taking bone prison for extra generation of and for vulnerable as well. So that's quite strong. So we have essence and vulnerable. Then we've got Iron Maiden. We're using this one as another essence generator. And when you kill things, you gain health. Then it's loads of passives. So down here, we're just taking this. It's like extra like damage to like crit chance and like vulnerable. And then here's extra sacrifice damage. It's very simple. If you wanted more defense, because we do have a spare skill slot, you could take Blood Mist. You could take like a point out of one of these or something, and you could put it up into Blood Mist. You could even go up here if you want that extra defense. Don't need it, but if you want it, go for it. Book of the Dead, we have the Skeleton Warriors. We're sacrificing these ones here for crit chance. We've got the Skeletal Mages. We're sacrificing these for extra damage versus vulnerable. Makes it incredibly strong. For the Golem in the beta, I've just got it kept on the first one here. The whole premise of this is you can use like Bone Splinter to get crit chance. You know, these rebound your spears. They do insane damage. Using Iron Maiden for essence generator. You've got a taunt from your Golem that you can send in, and Bone Prison if you trap things. Then you gain essence back as well. Incredibly strong. Now, to ramp up the huge amount of damage that you saw in the clip, I've got quite a few things going on with this. It's not essential, but I do have a lot of kind of things to synergy here for like just bonus damage to get it really high. The main thing you want here is that Bone Prison's primary attacks make enemies hit before the first vulnerable or beyond the first vulnerable, and you deal like 225% damage. So this is absolutely huge. Whack this on a two-hander and you're kind of golden. This one here, when hit not healthy, make you immune, don't need that. This one's for extra armor, you don't need that. This one here, Bone Prison, spawns blight underneath the target, you don't need that either. So those three don't worry about. Damaging an elite grants you a barrier. This one's very good, and I'll show you why in a second. Here you have increased crowd control duration. Don't need that, but deal 38% increased damage to unstoppable enemies is quite big for bosses. So if you can get this one, it's very good. Here we've got skills deal 47% increased damage based on your available primary resource. That one's very cool as well. I've got that one imprinted onto the amulet, obviously. Then we've got deal 29% damage when you have a barrier. So you can see how these start to scale. You're using this one here, you damage an enemy, an elite, you get a barrier. Then you're doing 29% increased damage. And then attacking an enemies with a basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill up. And that can ramp all the way up to 50. So if you want to get like the huge damage like the boss at the end, you're going to have to like pre-stack it to get that massive hit. But this works really well against world bosses because you're going to be firing off loads of stuff to be able to like dump your essence. And then as you're using your other skills to generate it, as well as your basic attacks to be able to generate it, you'll be ramping that up, and the next hit will do a lot of damage. Because they say you can hit a world boss for like kind of 5,000-6,000 very easily with your bone spears, and then it splits off and comes back and does damage as well. So very strong build, loads of passives, spare skill slot. I am doing a giveaway, so down below in the description, there's a giveaway for a copy of Diablo 4. If you want to get involved with that, very simple, completely free. If you like the build and you want to see more content like this, like and sub the video. But let's get into some footage. Because even without anything, watch. 6,000 vulnerable, bam. Like, it does crazy damage. Instant crit. If you need essence back, then pop this down, get enemies, that gives you essence back. If you're spamming quite a bit and the essence goes low, use Bone Prison, sorry, and then that will give you even more. But you can see it's absolutely silly damage. So keep going through as you go. Curse them to get essence back. If you need to send your minion into taunt, absolute crazy damage. Let's go up here and find an elite. Normally, you end up just one-shotting an elite as well. Here we go. So on the map, we've got one down here. Especially if you Bone Prison them first. Ready? Bone Prison. One shot. absolutely ridiculous damage. It's so busted. So busted. Very, very strong build.
I need more time.
Okay, so we've got another elite up here. So, send in for a taunt if you need to. Crazy damage. Crazy damage. Then we've got the other watchman. Dead. Absolutely nuts. So, it's not particularly hard to play. You just need to keep your essence going up. Making sure you're doing your Iron Maidens. And then Bone Spears. For incredible damage throughout. Another bit of sustain from Bone Prison. And it's just busted. Very strong build all around. I think you guys are really gonna like this. Here we go. So curse up like the whole room. Let's keep our essence up. Nothing stands a chance, man. Just nothing stands a chance. I have as well killed the butcher with this build. It did take a little bit, but I did kill him. If you were to manage to get him to a corner where you can keep getting like the rebound damage properly, then you'd be able to really take him down quite quickly. Especially if you can like bone prison him in and then just like fire off a whole bunch. You will get a ton of damage off and you'll chunk down something like the butcher. Again, use new golem for like taunts on any mobs that you need to, keeping your essence up, and then you got your basic attacks as well. Very strong build. Thanks for watching the video.